Hey everyone, my name is Perry, and welcome back to the cassette phase. So we're about a week out now from Christmas Day, and I really wanted to fit in at least one more holiday themed video, possibly two, we'll have to see. And I always have so much fun flipping through old comic books with you guys here on the channel. There's just something about that artwork and all those old advertisements that just feels so wholesome and really takes you back. And as a kid, I always appreciated the special holiday editions and holiday stories that we would get for some of our favorite comic book characters. And just like we did a couple of months back with the Halloween themed comics, today we're going to take a few minutes out of our busy days to flip through some Christmas themed comics. So no long intro today. We're just going to head over to the Ottoman here and take a nice nostalgic look back at a few holiday themed comics. And of course, share some memories and some stories along the way. Sound like fun to you? Come hang out. Okay everyone, welcome back to the Ottoman here. And the first issue that I want to take a look at today is this supersized Alf holiday special, which I believe is from 1988. And much like they did with our favorite TV shows and cartoons, you know, they would do a holiday special or a Christmas special version of those. They did the same thing a lot of times with comic books, and I, of course, loved every bit of it. So, good look at the cover there, really cool artwork. Let's take a look at the back cover like we always do and see what we've got. A nice G.I. Joe ad. I see a very similar ad on a lot of the comic books that I look at from this era. Just really cool. So nostalgic to see. Now you can be the next Joe. And I've got a few that I want to show you today, so we're going to flip through these fairly quickly. You've got a really cool Cocoa Pebbles BMX bike race ad here. I love that we got little, one-page comic stories for Cocoa and Fruity Pebbles back in the day. But this is called Alf in Shop Around the Clock. Got some great artwork there of Kate coming in with her arms overflowing with packages and presents. I really enjoyed these Alf comics. I know it wasn't a very long run, but I think they really did a good job capturing the feel of the show, and capturing Alf's voice in comic format. And look there, you can even join the Alf fan club if you want to, for only $6. Looks like you've even got you got some shots at the from the mall here. And I just did a video, if any of you guys had a chance to check it out yet, talking about malls at the holiday time in the 80s and the 90s. And here you've got a comic representation of that very thing. The kids waiting to see Santa and all the decorations, and love that. I always like seeing this ad for the Nintendo Game & Watch. Just so cool. The next story is Alf in Snowman is an Island. Snowman is an Island. Do I appreciate that dad joke more now that I'm a dad than I did when I was a kid? Probably so. I always liked the way that they drew and animated snowfall in cartoons and comics from back then. And here you've got an ad for one of my absolute favorite Star Comics, from the Star Comics imprint, which was, a division of Marvel. that focused on like Saturday morning cartoon properties back in the 80s. I loved these Flintstone Kids comics, and I've got quite a few of them. All right. I think usually you got 2 or 3 stories in here, and this was a supersized issue, so maybe a little bit extra here, but you got the checklist here with the issue that we're reading right now, along with a Heathcliff. Yeah, there were so many great properties represented on these Star comics. I know I've mentioned this before, but I would eventually like to collect the whole run. That would be like a lifelong journey to try to accomplish that. But I think that'd be something fun to go after. Here you've got The Gift of the Melmagi. You know, whenever you saw the full body shot of Alf in the show, it was always a little bit weird. You know, it wasn't the puppet that we were used to. It was somebody in a costume running around the set. You didn't see it a lot, but whenever you did, it was a little bit jarring. It didn't quite look the same. Seen that ad in just about every comic book from this time period. Great shot of Alf skiing there. Love that. Almost coming to the end of this one here, guys. Let's see. Alf Lang sign. Looks like Alf in a streaking through the living room in a 1989 toga or whatever. Oh, look, there's Trevor Achmonic and Raquel. Every good sitcom needed some kind of quirky neighbor, did they not? There's an ad for the old Monster cereal. And wow, a really cool looking 80s graphical ad for Trix. All right, there we are. Let's keep it moving. So this next one is kind of like a little bit of a crossover between our holidays here. You've got Casper the Friendly Ghost, who I usually associate more with Halloween, obviously, but you've got like a Christmas edition here of his comic, and I want to show you really quick on the back here. How cool is this 1987 calendar that they gave us, along with the artwork from a lot of the Harvey Comics characters, you know, the Richie Rich and Casper and everything up there at the top. Love that. Just so cool. Now this issue is not nearly as big as the last one, but let's take a look and see what we've got here. The Friendly Ghost, Casper the Friendly Ghost holiday issue. Casper in a Visit to Santa Land. Casper in The Toy Thief. Casper in The Would-Be Santa Claus, and then you've got another one, Spooky, in The Husher and Wendy. Happy New Year. One of my all-time, sorry to go off on a little tangent here, but one of my all-time favorite episodes of The Simpsons is in, I think, season 2, late season 2, The 3 Men in a Comic Book. Is that the one that I'm thinking of? I may be mixing up a couple of episodes here, but there's an episode where they go to a comic book convention, and Bart makes the comment that, you know, he's making fun of Lisa for picking out a bunch of wimpy comics, like a big stack of Casper comics for like $1. And he mentions that Casper looks like the ghost of Richie Rich, and it's so true. I thought that was funny. Sorry, like I said, little tangent there, but I just thought of that when I was looking at Casper there. Now you can watch your favorite cartoon characters on video cassette. Now that's pretty cool. Casper's tree that he's decorating here looks kind of sad, kind of like the Charlie Brown Christmas tree. All right, we've got an appearance from Santa here. You know, I didn't see a lot of Casper on TV when I was a kid. Every once in a while a cartoon would come on, and I'm pretty sure he had a Halloween special and a Christmas special. So it's kind of like a special occasion when you saw him, but I never really just saw him in the course of daily TV watching or anything like that. But he was always just kind of around, you know, just a character that we were familiar with. And then of course we got the really cool live action movie in the 90s. Don't give Plaque a ghost of a chance. Visit your friendly dentist regularly. Good advice from Casper the Friendly Ghost there. Just such simple, classic looking artwork. You know, there's nothing too fancy about any of this, but it's just, I don't know. Like I said in the intro, it just feels wholesome, you know? Oh, and this must be Spooky, the not-so-friendly ghost. Yeah, we're already to the end. I may have skipped a couple of pages there, but this was not a very long comic to begin with, so. Really cool to see, though. Love that cover art. Let's go on to the next one. All right, so for this next one, let's venture into the 90s a little bit here, the very early 90s, with the Ren and Stimpy Show comic book. If you read only one demented holiday special, this is the one. Let's check the back cover for ads. Oh, cool, we've got NFL Quarterback Club for Game Boy, Super Nintendo, and Sega Genesis. You know, a few weeks back I did a video where I talked about memories of the NFL and memories of professional football back in the 80s and the 90s, and a lot of these helmet logos that I'm seeing here are just some of my favorites and some of the ones that I talked about a lot in that video. Now, I don't remember this being the best game, though. I don't remember that being the best version of football on those systems, but all right. So right when we open it up, we've got a really rad advertisement for Alien vs. Predator on Super NES. The battle to survive just got ugly. I don't think I ever played that game. Looks cool, though. Now, when Ren and Stimpy first came out, it was my least favorite of those original 3 Nicktoons. I remember they advertised for probably months, it felt like, when they were going to start doing Nicktoons. And I think it was going to be a Sunday morning thing, right? You know, because we had Saturday morning cartoons, but we didn't have anything like that on Sundays. And I think that was kind of filling that gap. I could be remembering that wrong, but the initial lineup was Doug and Rugrats and Ren and Stimpy. And I loved, right off the bat, from the very jump, Doug and even Rugrats. But, you know, you got to Ren and Stimpy and you were like, kind of like, what am I watching? What is going on here? But I will say, once you got used to the format and the style of that show, it was actually pretty hilarious. Really, like, funny. Some really, you know, off-the-wall, crude humor and just weird stuff throughout a lot of those episodes. But still feels kind of unique, you know? I don't know that we've had a lot of stuff like this since. I don't know if you guys can pick up, I don't know if the microphone is picking up the train in the background, but I've got my windows open today. It's just a beautiful day. It's sunny, low 60s, just perfect, you know, December weather. Marvel Classic. And I also don't know if this is coming through, but the colors on this issue they still pop. Like, there's very little fade here, which makes me wonder if this, you know, if this got read a lot, or if whoever owned this read it one time and kept it sealed up ever since. Yeah, just really vibrant colors there for a comic book this old. Intruders. Here we've got a Street Fighter 2 ad, which is really cool. Look at the artwork on that. Just epic stuff. Yeah, just really kind of blown away by the colors in this. Oh, look, it's Powdered Toast Man. Remember him? So weird. Here's the secret to making new Nickelodeon videos. Don't try this at home. And there you got Doug and some Rugrats action. My dogs are barking. What do we have here? We'll take a hammer to your mailbox. Okay. Get 2 issues free. Early 90s comics were something else. Oh, look here, you've got Stimpy coughing up a hairball. Ew. That's what I'm talking about. But at least they finished it up with Happy Holidays. And here on the next page, you can write a letter in and ask Dr. Stupid yourself. Now this is cool. This is a whole spread ad. You know, I've been researching a lot of Sega Genesis games recently. As you guys know, I've kind of, just kind of dipping my toes in the water on collecting for Sega Genesis because I never had it as a kid. And so there's all these great retro games that I've never experienced. And I was reading about this Eternal Champions one, and I think it was one that maybe was a little bit, maybe a little bit harder to find, but kind of fun. So I'm gonna keep an eye out for that one. But that artwork is amazing. Definitely makes me want to try the game out. All right, there we have it, Ren and Stimpy. Let's move on to the next one. So for this one, let's visit our old pal, Dennis the Menace. Now I was introduced to him a couple of different ways. I remember the cartoon first. I used to watch that cartoon with that great catchy theme song. I used to watch that before school, real early in the morning. And then later, I remember watching the black and white live action TV show as well. I think on maybe in the afternoons on Nickelodeon, before or after Lassie, or maybe even like during Nick at Night, that programming block Nick at Night. But this, I couldn't find the actual print year on this. Really cool. But I did find that the stories in here are collected from 1963 comic strips. So going a little older here, but just really cool. A little bit traditional with the panel layout. Almost looks like you're reading, the comic section of a newspaper, which I loved. I still love doing that, actually. Colors are a little bit faded here, but that's all right. And being that it's printed on essentially newspaper, I wish you guys could smell this through the phone, but let's see if I can describe it. It's like the smell of the ink mixed with the old paper. I don't know, it's just something that I always love when you open up a comic book and you just get that smell. Such a blast from the past. Oh look, Dallas, Texas, so he must be coming my way. And not too Christmassy so far. I'd have to actually read the story, but here we've got the 12 Days of Christmas. That's my son's favorite Christmas song. He loves the Muppet version of that with John Denver. We listen to that thing at least 4 or 5 times every year. He pretty much has it memorized at this point, I'm pretty sure. Oh, but look, so Dennis is dreaming about it. A partridge in a pear tree. Oh, we're going to go through all of them. That's cool. Isn't it 5 golden rings, or has it always been 5 gold rings and I'm just remembering it incorrectly? Oh, this is actually pretty cool that they did it like that. You can definitely tell this is 60s style, artwork here. Hmm. 12 drummers drumming there at the end. Woke him up. Woke up poor Dennis. Now here's something that I don't think I even I don't remember this happening in our comics from the 80s and the 90s, where they would put coloring pages in there. Anybody else remember that? Kind of new to me, but really cool. Makes sense. Wow. I love that these aren't colored in. Huh. A nice little surprise in the middle of the issue here. Dennis in the Christmas City, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Really cool. Colors look pretty vibrant right here through this section of the book. Yeah, I recently found for next to nothing, like dirt cheap. Oh, here's some more coloring pages. The entire series, the cartoon series on DVD. I don't think it was a ton of episodes, but maybe like 50 or 60 episodes, so I was happy to find that. There's Margaret. Wasn't that her name? Love that. 'Twas the day before Christmas, and after a search, the Mitchells found Dennis and took him to church. Yeah, just simple classic stuff here. Oh, looks like he got a tricycle for Christmas. That won't end well. And here you got Mr. Wilson and Mrs. Wilson. And there you have it. Dennis the Menace Christmas collection from 1963. And last one for today. I had to go with my favorite, Walt Disney's Holiday Parade. Now, if you watched my comic book flip through video from back in around Halloween, I have an autumn version of this as well that has a lot of little Halloween stories in it that I showed you guys. And it features just a lot of Disney afternoon characters. And they always give you these awesome wraparound covers. Let me see if I can do this without popping the staples. But how great is that? You got Huey and Dewey and Louie. You got Mickey Mouse characters. You got some people from, some characters from Tailspin. Obviously, Ducktales gang. Oh, and then you got Chip and Dale. All in this wonderful holiday environment. So cool. All right, let's take a look. Now, if I remember correctly from the last video, these Disney comics don't have a lot of ads in them. I think someone maybe even explained to me why. Probably Josh. He's my go-to on stuff like that. But I think these stories are collected from some of the old Carl Barks Disney comics stories, which were so great and so classic and really influential in what we got in the Disney afternoon cartoons. I think those Ducktales stories and all those great adventures were based on the Carl Barks comics from back in the day. And the stories are always so simple and predictable and straightforward, but it's just, you know, it's just peaceful. You know, sit down, get yourself a glass of eggnog, sit down next to the lights on the Christmas tree and just, you know, maybe a fire going if it's cold where you are, and just flip through, you know, the stories in a comic like this. It's just, trust me, it's so relaxing. You know, look, these panels, they're short. You know, these are quick, easy reads. You don't have to hang on every word. You can pretty much get the gist of the story just by almost skimming and looking at the art. Not a big time commitment there. And there's my favorite Disney character of all time, Uncle Scrooge. A little materialistic, sure, but a heart of gold when it comes down to it. Oh, and here we've got a story with Super Goof. I'm pretty sure I've read this story in a different compilation. Oh wow, check out the tailspin. Shine a little light. I was a big fan of Tailspin. You know, it got overshadowed by things like Ducktales and Rescue Rangers, of course, but after those two, I think Tailspin was probably my third favorite. Yeah, I think I liked it a little bit more than Darkwing Duck even. Higher for Hire with Rebecca Cunningham. Now this Chip and Dale, this is pre-Rescue Rangers, looks like. It was just the two of them before they had dressed them up as Indiana Jones and Magnum P.I. and added Gadget and Monterey Jack to the team. I always thought whenever they showed the inside of Chip and Dale's house, like inside the tree, it always looked so cozy. Like I wanted to go visit there. And I talked about in my Christmas specials video how much I love Pluto's Christmas Tree, that old short cartoon with Chip and Dale, where they walk around inside the Christmas tree and you can kind of see what the ornaments and the lights and everything looked like from inside the Christmas tree. I just always thought that was so cool. Stuck with me to this day. Here you got Mickey Mouse with the Moose Head Mystery. Now their names, okay, Morty and Ferdy, that's right. There's nephews, right? I think that's right. And then we eventually got Goofy's show in the Disney Afternoon with Goof Troop, which I liked that one as well. I thought it had a really cool theme song. Yep, not an advertisement anywhere to be found, but still really cool. Classic art, classic stories, classic all around. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And there we are. So I know that when we do things like flip through old comic books or children's books, it may not be the most exciting thing on the channel. But for me, it's kind of relaxing, you know, a nice little break. And that's kind of what we're going for here. So if you're like me and you find value in that type of thing, consider subscribing. But I'll likely be back for at least one more video between now and Christmas, even if it's just to check in and wish you all a happy holiday. But for now, and as always, relax, enjoy life, and be kind. We'll see you in the next one.